That's right, folks. Tonight we watched the unwatchable. We watched something we swore we would never watch. The 2016 Ghostbusters. I think I finally broke him.
Adjust his camera a little bit. There.
Oh, yay. So, Joe, what'd you think of the movie?
You know, there comes a time in some people's lives where they take a look back at all the bad things they've done, and I've made it a point in my life to enjoy and fucking with people. That's just something I like to do. I don't like to actually make people hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody. I like fucking with people. And I've done that my whole life and found joy in it. And now I question that. I've never been a believer in, like, karma, but that was one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think I've ever been that angry watching a movie. The Emoji Movie was bad, but here's the thing. With the Emoji Movie, they didn't try. They just threw a pile of shit together and said, we can put a price tag on this and people will pay it, and they did. They were trying in this movie.
I totally get it now. I get the power, get the rush, the feeling you get of just making someone's life a living hell. It was such entertainment. Not the movie. Fuck this movie. It's a piece of shit. I had to watch it twice now. The second time was so worth it.
For those of you that are watching this, if I've ever wronged you, I'm sorry. Because this is my purgation. This is my purgatory. Before we continue this review, let's get one thing very crystal clear. There were misogynists out there that protested this movie because it was an all-female cast. The casting of this movie is not where it went wrong. You had a competent cast of people. It was just a fucking terrible goddamn movie.
It was so fucking bad.
This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I have seen thousands of movies. You're talking to a guy that watches new movies every week. Every week I see at least 2 or 3 movies I've never seen before. That's my thing. I like to watch movies.
Yeah. You don't know what's out there until you experience it.
I've had people say to me, how could you be an atheist? How can you not believe in God?
Show them the fucking Ghostbusters. 2016 Ghostbusters.
This review might not go over that well because we're a lot more intoxicated because this movie required a lot more drinking to get through.
I think we drank twice as much as we normally do during a movie during Ghostbusters.
Now, truth be told, I actually have kind of a thing for Kristen Wiig. I think she's beautiful. And I think, above that, she's an extremely talented actress. In fact, upcoming next month, one of the reviews I'm going to do on my channel is one of my favorite movies ever made called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I've never identified with a character in a film more than that film. I love that movie, and she is a big reason why. She is amazing in that movie. Not in this. But here's the thing. I hate. I won't even go into it anymore. Everybody knows I hate Melissa McCarthy. She's an intolerable human being to me. And the director made a film with Melissa McCarthy in it, and she wasn't even close to the worst thing about this movie. You had a good cast of people in here. An excellent cast.
Anybody that knows him, if he's saying that Melissa McCarthy is not the worst part of this movie, that should tell you how bad this movie really is. Oh man, it's just so bad. I had so much fun. These past 2 hours have been 2 of the greatest hours of my life. Oh, jeez. It's so bad. It really, really is so bad.
I never wanted to watch this movie, but I owed it to him because I forced him to sit through the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, well, and that is how this whole thing come about.
Now, you can't be mad about Robin Hood Ghost of Sherwood because that was enjoyably bad.
That was an incredible movie. Compared to the Emoji Movie and Ghostbusters, yeah, that movie was great. But this all came about because the last Drunk Review, we watched the Emoji Movie. And I was so numbed by this movie that I thought, I went to a used movie store, browsing around, and I saw this. And I thought, well, the Emoji Movie was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There's no possible way that Ghostbusters could be that bad. Like, it was overhyped. A lot of people are mad because they were women. Like, it's not that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a chance. I'm buying it used, so I'm not supporting the fucking making of this movie by any means. So I paid $6 for it and came home and watched it, and it absolutely toppled the Emoji Movie as the worst movie I've ever seen. Oh my God, was it bad?
Now, the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. My buddy Matt that did I mentioned it before, the Dark Tower review that we did, he had it in it. Matt and I watched a movie once called Night Train to Terror, and that is the worst movie I've ever seen.
It has to be bad.
It's still and it has Bull from Night Court in it, Richard Mole. It's still the worst movie I've ever seen, but this creeps up on it because you had. Now I'm a big fan of Kate McKinnon. I really like her. I think she's very funny. If you ever get a chance, Google her on the Jimmy Fallon show. Fuck Jimmy Kimmel. She's on the Jimmy Fallon show, and she does an impersonation of Gal Gadot from Wonder Woman, and she sounds dead fucking on her. Kate McKinnon is a beautiful, wonderfully talented person, and this movie managed to make her unappealing.
She's the worst part of the whole movie.
She is the worst part of this whole fucking movie. I thought, when I went into this, oh, it's got Melissa McCarthy. She's going to be the worst part of the movie. No. Kate McKinnon's character is so badly directed. And I don't blame the actors in this. I don't even blame Melissa McCarthy. I don't. Because you can't assemble a group of actors like Bill Murray, Anthony Garcia, Sigourney Weaver. One of my favorite actresses of all time.
That was just the icing on the cake.
Ernie Hudson, Matt Walsh is in this movie, and I'm a huge Matt Walsh fan. It's the directing, because these people. I felt bad for Kristen Wiig. I love Kristen Wiig. I felt terrible because she was the only person in this movie that was really, really trying to make this work.
You could tell she was serious about it. She absolutely was giving it her all. There was just no way in the world that she could overcome the terribleness of this movie.
Kristen Wiig thought she could make this some good movie, but there was no way.
There was no way.
We drank what's that? I think it's like a gallon of rum. We drank half a gallon of rum.
Half a gallon of rum. Yeah, that's a lot.
I hate this fucking movie.
We're pretty intoxicated right now. But you can thank Ghostbusters for that.
And here's the thing, given the script and the plot and all that, had a better director and a better set of producers. I cannot believe Dan Aykroyd was an executive producer. Usually when somebody has an executive producer credit, though, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was just there.
The producers are the ones, so...
That was the worst part for me, because visually, this movie is amazing. The CGI
is really good.
It's excellent. Like, this is really, really well done with the ghosts and stuff. It's just the rest of it. It killed it so bad.
Here's what kills me. The director of this movie is actually Melissa McCarthy's husband.
She should get a divorce. She's not even that terrible.
No, she is, but... This is an example of a director who should not be a director, but he should be like a cinematographer, because the movie was actually really well shot. It was pretty well paced. Like, the scenes were well shot. They were well, like I just said, they were well paced. The camera knew where to be. There was no point where I felt confused. There was no point where the shots themselves looked bad. So the director of this is a competent director when it comes to shooting the backgrounds and to shooting the scenery. Just telling the actors what to do and what to say. No! Every time there was a joke in this movie, I looked at him, I'm like, was that supposed to be fucking funny? Because it wasn't fucking funny. The funniest line in the whole movie, Bill Murray. For fuck's sake, Bill Murray is in this movie. And you know he was here for the paycheck. He walks in, and he's got this goofy-looking hat on, and they say something about his hat, and Chris Hemsworth is like, that is a nice hat, though. And the way he's in a movie, that should never be the funniest part of your movie. And in this movie, that was the funniest, that was the only part of this movie I had a genuine laugh.
There were so many jokes that they, not only were they terrible jokes, but they paused for laughter after these jokes.
Yes! Yes, they did!
There's no laughter coming, because they're terrible jokes.
The soundtrack would actually, like, decrease in volume so you could hear it, and you'd wait for the funny part, and then the sound would come back, and you're like, wait.
That was the funny part. There's so many terrible bad jokes. Like, I don't even think you could actually call them jokes.
No.
Even like a dad joke is funny to somebody. These jokes were horrendous.
Now, I'm a guy who...
Okay, you got Chris Hemsworth, and they say something about it's how loud something is, and he goes like this.
That's not funny! Now, as a straight, heterosexual man, not gay, but if a man turned gay for Chris Hemsworth, I'd understand. He's a sexy man. Fuck you homophobes. Chris Hemsworth is a sexy... And this movie made him unappealing. Watch any of the 3 Thor films, even though the second one is objectively the worst Marvel film ever made. Well, not the worst, wait, I have to change that. Of the current Marvel... Because it was still better than both the Incredible Hulk films and all the Fantastic Four films.
Yeah.
But Thor the Dark World is, of the current MCU...
The modern MCU.
It's the worst, even though Thor Ragnarok is one of the best. Chris Hemsworth is still awesome in that. Yeah. The Heart of the Sea. Have you seen In the Heart of the Sea?
No.
Fan-fucking-tastic movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. I loved In the Heart of the Sea, and Chris Hemsworth is a big part of it. Hemsworth is he's a handsome man, extremely talented actor. I could watch him for hours. He's just so good on screen. Not in this movie.
He's great in everything except for Ghostbusters.
How bad of a director can you be that you fucked up Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, and Chris Hemsworth in the same fucking movie?
Some of the funniest people that you could ever round up together they didn't get one single laugh. I never cracked a smile during
Yeah, you
this
did.
during this viewing. It was hilarious to me. But the first time I watched this, I never so much as cracked a smile. Because this fucking shit was so terrible. I fucking laughed my ass off. He was fucking literally jumping up and down in anger.
I wish we had a camera to film that because I was.
literally jumping up and down, saying, "No! Why? No!"
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver showed up in the post-credit scene. Now, I recently did a list of my favorite performances, male and female, and one of them was her as the character from Ghostbusters. My second favorite female acting performance ever given on screen is her as Dana Barrett in the first Ghostbusters, and even Ghostbusters 2. And in the end credit scene of this movie, Jesus motherfucking Christ!
So, are we even now?
No! No! Here, I think
I watched two terrible movies.
Yeah, but Ghost of Sherwood was enjoyably bad.
Well, yeah, but it was bad.
But like I said before, Emoji Movie was not trying. It was a cash cow. This movie was trying to be a movie and it failed on every level. Every level this movie failed. Every level. I've never seen a movie that made me just.
Flat out angry.
The fuck is wrong with your cat?
I have no idea. It's a fucking idiot. It's trying to chase its tail like a dog.
I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that or not, but...
It's a fucking idiot cat.
Yeah, idiot cat. This was a fucking terrible movie.
It was.
I remember when this movie came out, I had a couple friends that went and saw it and tried to defend it. Fuck you.
You're a piece of shit. If you enjoyed this movie, you fucking suck.
Even with Melissa McCarthy, who I hate, if a semi-competent director had gotten a hold of this film, they could have made a better film. I blame this movie entirely on the director. Entirely. Because you had a good cast. As much as I hate Melissa McCarthy, you had another, like Leslie Jones, I'm not the biggest fan of her, but she can be funny.
Yeah.
I've seen her on SNL be funny, and you know, Kate McKinnon and Kristen Wiig are hilarious women, and Chris Hemsworth is Chris fucking Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You had a good cast, good CGI. The sets all look good, except there was one part where the car was taking off and they CGI'd the goddamn garage. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
The first
I don't
time,
understand why they did that.
the first time the Ecto-1 takes off, they're on a set and the car takes off and you can see the rendered garage behind them. What the fuck was that? Aside from that, so yeah, Paul Feig is an incompetent fucking director because on paper this movie could have been good. I am not opposed to an all-female Ghostbusters, not whatsoever. I'm one of those people that I'm a comic book fan. If you make me a comic book movie that completely bastardizes the comic book, but it's an entertaining film, I'm still in. Like Man of Steel had nothing to do with anything Superman ever, and I know a lot of people hated Man of Steel. I still really liked that movie because it was well directed. I mean, Zack Snyder's not the greatest director, but he did a really good job with that movie. This is an example of a talented group of people ruined by a horrible fucking director.
I just don't understand how they made it so slapstick without any comedy. Like we talked about it before it was even all the way over. They had a part where the actual Ghostbuster logo popped up. The villain turned into the Ghostbuster logo. He was a cartoon. And if they had made this movie like a cartoon what the hell is it called?
Like a live action cartoon.
A live action cartoon, yeah. Then that would have helped with the stupidness of the jokes that they said. That might have made it a little bit more funny if they'd have started with cartoon and kept cartoon and real life intertwined the whole time. It might have been a different story. I could see enjoying this movie possibly if they would have did that.
It could have at least approached tolerable.
Yeah.
This movie was insufferable.
It was fucking terrible.
I hated almost everything about this fucking movie. I don't recommend this to anybody, even my enemies. As much as I hate you, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to be fair.
We want to have a fair fight here. Don't watch Ghostbusters.
Now, a few years ago, on Facebook, I listed my top 10 favorite films of all time. Number 1 was The Godfather Part 1. It's my favorite film ever made. Number 2 is a tie between this movie, a good movie, Back to the Future, Part 1, and the first Ghostbusters.
I noticed you had a Back to the Future shirt on.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
The power of love.
Can you imagine if they made a Back to the Future and Melissa McCarthy was Marty McFly?
I think that would be the point where I disconnect. That would be the point. I couldn't. At that point, I would no longer be able to feel emotions. I wouldn't be able to feel sad, but I wouldn't be able to feel happy. I couldn't be disgusted, but I couldn't be aroused. My feelings would just die at that point.
Come on, Doc! We're going back to the future!
Wake up, little buddy! Come on! Come on! No. I'll never be able to have kids again because it'll never happen again. No, actually, they almost made... I mentioned this in a video before. They were going to remake Back to the Future, and the fan reaction was so negative they decided not to.
Yeah.
There are some movies that I'm okay with being remade. There are. Like, they remade I Spit on Your Grave. That's fine. They remade Dawn of the Dead. That's fine. You cannot remake Back to the Future. You can't.
No. They should have...
That was magic in a bottle.
They should have listened to people when they said don't remake Ghostbusters. Because that's just one of those iconic classic movies. They should have listened when they said don't remake Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
That's another one. They just fucking dropped the ball.
I tell you what, now that you mentioned that, it's a tough call, which is worse. This is a Wonka remake. They're both... I might have to put them on par. They might have to be even. They might actually have to be even. I think this was just as bad, but not worse, because to say one was worse than the other would give credo to the other.
Yeah.
This was just as bad as the Wonka remake.
Yeah.
Or reboot, or however the fuck you want to say it.
No, it was a remake. Fuck that. Just like this was. They didn't... that was the problem. They messed up because they tried to remake Ghostbusters.
The original idea for this film was going to be Dan Aykroyd heading up the team and handing them over the reins of the team to a new group of people, and they were all going to be chicks.
That
could have worked. That could have worked. It really could have.
Yeah, that would have been better than them restarting the movie over with these women that are not funny at all and horrendously portrayed as nerds. They said 1 million words that mean absolutely nothing in this movie.
Just because you string together a bunch of sciencey sounding things doesn't make you sound smart.
Fucking zero intelligence in any of those words that they were saying. They don't mean jack dilly shit. At least the fucking first Ghostbusters said things. Fucking Eon said a lot of things that were fucking sciencey, but they made sense. None of the shit made sense. It was made up bullshit.
Well, one of the things, the alluring part of the original Ghostbusters film was it knew how absurd it was. it had fun with the absurdity, but still created relatable and likable characters. There were no likable characters in this movie. Except Kristen Wiig's character, even though her script was terrible and her direction was terrible, man, Kristen Wiig was doing the best with what she had. She really was. I felt bad for Kristen Wiig because she was trying so hard to make this watchable.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I will still watch her movies. I don't blame Kristen Wiig one bit.
He's got a giant heart on for Kristen Wiig.
I do.
And she was trying, but it didn't make it any better.
Yeah. But here's the thing about Kristen Wiig. I've seen, like, as we've seen in the movie Mother. She was in Mother. A movie that you should watch. We'll review that one time. We'll do a drunk review of Mother sometime.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one to drunk review.
Oh, yeah.
I want to wait a good maybe year. Because I want people to see Mother before we do a drunk
That way
review.
they can buy it on sale for like $7.99 and watch it.
Yeah. Mother is a fan-fucking-tastic movie. I don't give a shit what the people say. Kristen Wiig plays a totally serious character.
Yeah.
Her character in that movie represents the Roman Catholic Church. And playing a serious role like that and The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, she is not only a good comedic actress, but she's a tremendous dramatic actress. And she did her best with what she had. There were people in this movie, like Matt Walsh was in this movie, and I'm like, why are you in this movie?
I wish that we had a fucking way to record reactions and edit them together, because that would be the best video. Just your entire reaction to this movie edited down, because you're just like, what the fuck? Why are you in this movie?
I'm so sad. It's like that angry parent, you know, like when your mom tells you that she's not mad, but she's just disappointed in you, and that hurts. Like Steve-O said that on Jackass.
Yeah.
That hurts so much more.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this movie. I'm just disappointed.
Just disappointed. No. Yeah, because you're too numb to be mad, because it's that fucking terrible.
Given how polarizing this movie was when it came out, there's part of me that kind of wanted to give it a chance. Because there's a lot of movies out there that become polarizing films that people end up not liking, but really they're okay movies, like Tusk.
Yeah.
Or like Mother. This is not one of those.
No.
Don't watch this fucking movie.
People were right for saying that this was a terrible, terrible movie and that you shouldn't see it.
This is Sony Pictures, as far as what they spent to what the movie made, this is one of the biggest financial flops they ever did.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Because if I went and saw this on the opening night, I would make it my mission in my life to stop other people from seeing it. I would post online as much as I could. I would stand outside of movie theaters and beg people not to go and see this movie, because that's how bad it was.
It's just, I mean, as far as a movie is concerned, a movie with the 3-act structure, a beginning, middle, and end, how a movie is supposed to be directed, produced, presented, this just was not a movie. It wasn't good. There was nothing. This movie had no redeeming qualities. The storyline was terrible. The villain was stupid.
He was probably the worst villain.
One of the worst villains ever. Now,
he really was. He was so bad.
The best part about the first movie is there's no real, actually clear villain. It's just humanity against the pair. Get out of my food, you dumb shit! You have stupid cats.
No, kitty, you're a bad kitty. You're a bad kitty.
There's a Korean restaurant down the street.
You know what's fucked up? There really is.
There really is.
It's a Korean barbecue. It's like a fucking 1/8 of a mile from here.
We can walk there in 3 minutes.
Absolutely. We could fucking go over there and have the freshest Korean barbecue in town. With just a cat under each arm.
You know, it's funny. I'm going to test how sharp this knife is, and it's going to turn out it's razor sharp, and I've been doing all these jokes. I'm like, oh, I could have totally actually killed myself.
Yeah, I could have totally accidentally killed yourself. That would have made for a great video.
You know what's funny? When there's I doubt she watches my videos, but there's somebody on my friends list, a girl named Kristen that I went to high school with, and
she better get her ass on there and watch these videos.
And we were in biology class together, and I accidentally broke one of the slides, and I did like this, joking around, and then I looked, and it was just gushing blood. And she's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I didn't even feel it. The glass was that sharp." I was joking, and just started gushing blood.
That's crazy.
Wrapped paper towels around my arm and everything, and like it literally looked like I was trying to, and I really wasn't. It was a joke that went wrong, and she was there like, "Oh my god!" And there was just blood. I mean, literally, my arm, like from here to here, was.
One of these days, we'll just take this bucket full of knives and guns, and we'll put like a real one in with the fucking fake ones.
There's a screenshot right there. Jerry's bucket of weapons.
Probably half of those are loaded.
Those are pellet
They could
guns,
have just died. Yeah, they're pellet guns.
Yeah,
but this is a fucking real machete. I don't want to chop that. It's mine.
I don't want you to fuck up my camera either. It's like the only thing that gives me joy anymore.
I know. That's the fucking best thing you got in your life right now.
Fuck the kids and the wife. I love my camera. Yeah. I bought a Nintendo Switch today. Fuck that. I won't.
That's fucking pretty awesome.
Actually, it is. I was playing Mario Odyssey earlier for the first time. That's a fun game. It's a very fun game. It's one of those games that you play and you're just smiling while you're playing. You're like, oh, this is so much fun.
I'll have to come over there and try it out.
Yeah, come on over.
You can like break it down into 2 controllers, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fucking sweet.
Oh, dude, the Switch is one of the it's one of the greatest video game innovations of our time. I love it. I'm glad I bought it.
Heck yeah.
One thing I'm not glad about is coming over and watching this fucking horrible movie. But you know what? I'm gonna be a nice guy, and after this is over, because I got to pee, so we're gonna stop this video soon. We're gonna watch a movie called Krampus: The Reckoning.
The Reckoning.
Because after that actually awesome Krampus movie, which has become part of our Christmas tradition now.
That's a good movie.
You know, it's funny. I'm an atheist. My wife is Jewish, but we do have Christmas traditions. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Everybody's off.
It's a holiday.
It's a holiday, so we take that time for family. We don't go anywhere. We stay together that day, and there's a couple of movies that we watch. We watched Frosty the Snowman because we have that on DVD.
Movie.
The original, the 22-minute TV thing. We watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We watched Jim Carrey How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and now we watch Krampus.
Awesome. That's
Ever since that movie came out, I'm not kidding, this is not a joke, there have been over 40 Krampus knockoff movies made by the Asylum and all those other companies.
Jeez.
This is one of them. I've already seen this. I paid $1.99 for this on Black Friday at Walmart. It's so dumb. But we're going to watch it because it's so much fun.
Oh, I bet it's way better than fucking...
It's more fun than Ghostbusters.
At least we can make fun of that.
Yeah, that's the worst part. You can't even make fun of it because what joke can you make that the movie isn't making about it?
I know, it just takes it all out of you. It's like... Well, it's like that fucking special kid in class that does something stupid, and you're like, that would be funny if that was a regular person that did it, but I feel bad for making fun of that kid.
That's one of the best analogies you've ever made. That's exactly correct. I don't know. I feel like I deserve this for all the shit I put you through, but there's a part of me that's like, Did I deserve this? I mean...
You have made me watch some terrible, terrible things.
That's very true.
Lots and lots of them. And just the thrill you got from them.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed watching you watch the Emoji Movie.
Now I know exactly how you felt. And I'm not as mad at you now for making me watch those terrible things, because I have a taste of what you felt when you were making me watch them. So now I totally understand, like, oh, okay, you know, that's great. That's cool.
Alright, well, and under no circumstances watch the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah. If somebody says, hey, you want to watch the new Ghostbusters with Melissa McCarthy? You say, I don't want to talk to you ever again.
I wondered if we were friends, and I know we're not. If I hadn't, we're coming up on 10 years that we've been hanging out together. If this had been the first year, I don't think we would have hung out again after this.
Yeah, that's the same way I felt after Emoji Movie, so... Yeah. I was like, you know, we might not be doing these videos anymore. He's not going to want to hang out with me.
I will say this, I have not been this intoxicated at 9:42 at night in a long time.
And we're about to get more fuckered up. Hell yeah!
Only to drown my sorrows. I need to feel something.
Nothing better than feeling drunk.
You know what? Don't watch this movie, but earlier today we watched Annihilation. Go see that.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a good movie. I like that.
Yeah.
The more I've had time to process it since we watched it, since we did a review, I've liked it more and more. I think I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, that was a good one. Don't watch Ghostbusters. Don't mind those dripping noises in the background. You don't hear that. That's in your imagination.
You just told people not to watch Ghostbusters, but you made me watch Ghostbusters.
I know, but that was payback.
Yeah.
So you brought it on yourself.
Truth be told,
I would have never asked you to watch Ghostbusters if you didn't make me watch the Emoji Movie.
Truth be told, I'm a terrible person. I enjoy watching other people suffer.
It doesn't feel so good when it's on the other foot, does it?
No. But I can't be upset because it's like that whole thing of You ever watch the SpongeBob? Oh, yeah, I just read this is like the 4th time we've referenced SpongeBob. The SpongeBob episode where they accuse Patrick of waking up the giant clam and they tie him up and they're throwing shit at him. And he's like, I get what I deserve.
Yeah. You can totally relate now, huh? Awesome.
I'm Patrick Star in the situation. That's it. I have nothing else to say because I really have to pee. Anything else from you?
Nope. See you, fuckers.
See ya.